Hello, everyone. So we've finished talking about World War One. We are now going to be talking about World War Two, and we will start with talking about the causes of World War Two. So World War Two goes from September 1939 to September 1945. It is the most geographically widespread military conflict. Approximately 55 million people died. That's 40 million more than World War One. Most countries involved were against the Axis powers. Those Axis powers are Germany, Italy, and Japan. So here we have a picture of the American soldiers arriving on the beach of Omaha, D-Day, June 6, 1944. And here is a picture of the Iwo Jima Memorial in Arlington, Virginia. So, as we talked about recently, the Treaty of Versailles. It was signed to end World War One in 1918. These had severe consequences for Germany. This could be the largest factor in the outbreak of World War Two. So, what was so wrong with it? Well, Germany had to accept full blame for World War One, and we know that Germany is not the reason that World War One started. Give up colonies and land. So you can see here pictures. In the picture is the land that was taken over. Germany lost. Up here, in Poland, land lost to France and to Belgium. They had to pay reparations to other countries, which led to severe economic stress on Germany. German money was almost worthless. It was so worthless that people burnt it for fuel. German people were starving, they had no food. And the German government was in chaos. Then we had the Great Depression, which began with the stock market crash on October 29th, 1929, which led through 1939. Many countries' economies were struggling, not just Germany. People around the world were out of work with barely any income, which led to people having to stand in food lines. So here we have a picture of a food line. Governments becoming unstable because during times of great economic trouble, governments are held accountable. Powerful leaders taking control, which leads to the fascists. Fascist governments believed in a strong central government and strict control. Most were militaristic. They were led by dictators. And opponents of these governments were often jailed or killed. The most famous would be Adolf Hitler. So dictators rule. In Italy, Italy falls to a fascist government in 1922. In 1925, Benito Mussolini names himself dictator. Here's a picture of Mussolini. Japan. 1926, Emperor Hirohito takes the throne. Here's a picture of Emperor Hirohito. In the late 1930s, military general Tojo Hideki gains power. And here's a picture of General Tojo Hideki. In 1941, Tojo Hideki becomes prime minister. Then Germany. 1929, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or as we know them, the Nazis, led by Adolf Hitler, begins to gain power. In January 30th, 1933, Hitler is appointed Reich Chancellor. Reich is Congress of Germany. February 27th, 1933, the Reichstag government building burns. Here's a picture of that burning. Hitler blames the German Communist Party for this burning. Many believe Hitler is responsible for the fire and is using propaganda to make Germans afraid for their safety. The Nazi Party was able to take control of the Reichstag and passed an act that gave Hitler the power to pass any law without Reichstag approval. So, you see the foundation of dictatorship rule. So, Hitler begins sending political opponents to concentration camps. On August 2nd, 1934, Hitler names himself the Führer, or Supreme Leader. Why did the German people like Hitler? Well, Germans were desperate for a leader who could improve the economy and restore their national pride. Remember, people are starving. They just lost the war. They were just humiliated. And they have no money. They have no food. Many Germans were bitter about that Treaty of Versailles. And Hitler was charismatic. He gave the German people hope. Hitler was known to be a very good speech giver. So, we have alliances again. Just like we saw in World War I, we have those alliances. So once dictators came to power, they wanted to form alliances. Germany and Italy signed the Rome-German Axis. Germany and Japan signed the Anti-Comintern Pact. And Germany and Italy form a stronger alliance called the Pact of Steel. So, on September 27th, 1940, Germany, Italy, and Japan signed the Tripartite Pact. All three Axis powers are now allies after World War II began. So here we have a picture of Hitler and Mussolini together, and a propaganda poster made by the U.S., I believe the U.S. War Bureau. So, imperialism comes again. So once dictators come to power, they wanted to expand their country's empires. In Japan, Japan is a small island country which has few natural resources. In order for Japan to become an industrialized country, it needed to take over lands that were rich in natural resources. So, in 1931, Japan invades in Manchuria, a region in China. Japan claims more Chinese land and seizes European colonies in the Pacific region. Okay, so you could see here, all that red is the Japanese influence. Then we have Italy. In 1935, Italy invades Ethiopia in North Africa. Germany, 1938, Germany annexes Austria. 1939, Germany annexes Czechoslovakia. And you could see here the Axis powers in red. You can see how their power is growing. So next, we have the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. August 1939, Hitler and the Soviet Union's Joseph Stalin signed the German-Soviet Non-Aggression Pact. What's the big deal? Well, if Germany invades Poland, Hitler does not want to worry about fighting the Soviet Union to his east. Great Britain and France had promised military support to Poland if Germany ever invaded it. Okay, so unfortunately, we will see Hitler and Stalin made a secret agreement to invade Poland from the east and the west, and then they would split Poland amongst themselves. So appeasement. Appeasement is the policy of making concessions to a dictator in order to avoid war. Why weren't these dictators stopped? Well, the League of Nations was an organization of countries who worked together to maintain peace after the end of World War I. However, the League of Nations was unable to stop Japan because it was too far away. Italy was given economic sanctions when it invaded Ethiopia, but the League could not enforce it. Hitler realized the democratic nations were trying to avoid war, so he grew bolder. Great Britain and France could no longer ignore Hitler when he invaded Poland. So, World War II begins. September 1st, 1939, Hitler invades Poland. On September 3rd, 1939, World War II begins as Great Britain and France declare war on Germany in support of Poland. Okay, so we got our pictures of the beginnings of the war. And here you can see just how massive the Axis power area has become. All this red is Axis power. Here's Italy down here. That's Italy. And everything up here, this is Germany. That's how much Germany took over. That is all for this lesson. I will see you next lesson.